All right, guys, and welcome. My name is FreightTrain. Co-casting with me today will be Gormizer. This is the Esports Bush League Summer SMITE tournament with a cash prize of $500 on the line. We welcome everyone that's hanging out with you today. This is our first night, first game of the matchup. Right here, the Chairmen versus, well, this is the Red Queso Dead, Red Equals Dead. I don't know. I love when they put all the names together right there, Gore. It's one big word. Spacing helps. Goremizer, are you there? Well, we see now.
Yeah,
There we go. Okay, good.
yeah. Sorry, my mic was just acting up a little bit, but as it stands, we're gonna be watching the banning phase come through for the two teams here, and I mean, pretty typical bans coming out of the three of them: Ao Kwong and Erlang Shan versus, I mean, the Ratatosker ban. Pretty much all of these are right to the note.
Well, right now, again, we got the bans coming through. Ratatasker, Susano going to get banned out. Ao Kwong, Erlang, Shin are also going to get banned out over here. So it's going to end up being the typical bans, what we see normally. Fafnir actually going to get selected, what it looks like, for Mort. As, yeah, I mean, very strong support pick, has the ability to use Course and just really buff the crap out of his allies. I mean, it's a pretty intense ability.
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, by most of the pros in the league right now, they pretty much regard Fafnir as either must pick, must ban. So seeing him locked in, honestly, seeing him get through the ban phase is really impressive. But locked in, not too surprised as that one goes through. We're going to be switching over Fear Cthulhu, and the MCCM is going to be going for a pick. And I don't know exactly what is a good counter pick for Fafnir, but at this point, there's still a lot of really strong gods open. So I'm kind of hoping to see. I mean, they could grab a Bologna. They can grab anything for the solo laner. They could grab anything. I mean, honestly, anything.
They have a lot of options, as you said. I mean, just everything's open and available to them. It looks like Neath and Soul are going to be hovered over as the choices here. We'll see how they end up working out for the Chairman. Soul, this could be, again, we've seen this flip-flop many times. Soul mid, Soul ADC, Neath mid, Neath ADC. Like, could be either one of those, as now Raijin is going to get hovered over and possibly locked in for the team RedEqualsDead.
And it's always interesting that we've seen it a few times now, that Neath and Soul always tend to get locked together. The two teams, or the two gods, just being put on one team, being able to have that clear, and like you said, the flex that they have, being able to go to two roles, while RedEqualsDead going to be going for the Hu Yi Raijin, it looks like it, and Raijin having a really strong burst to counteract, and Hu Yi just being a very strong hunter, so both of them being able to set up in a very good matchup against Neath and Soul.
Well, next pick gonna be coming through for Apocalypse over here. We'll see what he decides to grab. Plenty of options available. Could be going for a jungler. They did ban out a couple of junglers early, obviously, with Susana Ratatasker. Maybe looking to go with a global Thor, or even the Nemesis. We saw a lot of Nemesis during the tournament yesterday that me and you did. Challengers has been pretty, filled up with these Nemesis type of picks. Really works kind of well, obviously, with the shredding of protections and a burst mage like a Soul that can just throw a stellar burst after a Nemesis ultimate and really just eliminate a target. But as I say all that, as I say all that,
Sobek going to be the thing that gets locked in, and I mean, he's got a long and hard amount of control for him, so he's a relatively strong support. And while I think there were others on the line I would have preferred to see, I'm not sure, again, against the matchups for Fafnir. I've never actually seen Fafnir in any kind of competitive play yet, since he came out very recently. And so seeing the matchup with him and Sobek, it would have been nice. I mean, Athena would have been great, but Sobek being the choice is going to be good. Bologna going to be the one chopped off by the Chairman there, though.
yeah, no one wants to deal with, especially with the new Death Toll. We were kind of talking about it during our little tournament yesterday. Just the fact that Death Toll now has that increased mana pool. So somebody like Bologna that has a bludgeon that ends up being a cleave attack, very, very effective at keeping her healthy in the lane, not only health-wise with the proccing of some HP, but also the fact that she's going to get 2 mana versus 1. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but as a solo lane, I normally main ADC. I kind of play the solo lane now. It really feels different to get that extra mana. I never feel as mana hungry as I did, and it just kind of helps you save on those multi potions that you normally buy. You're able to maybe get an extra health pod or something along those lines, so you can stay in the battles a little bit longer. Not really as mana hungry. As the next bans are coming through, Kali got taken out of the mix, so another jungler no longer available. Humbot and Thor, yeah, I mean, all the junglers, wow. No one has a jungler, and all the junglers are banned.
we have, yeah, 6, maybe 7, depending on where you count Erling Shen, and all of them just taken off the board. It's not leaving the options that open for the junglers, but I have a feeling that both of these teams know exactly what they want, and they've taken it out, although the hovering over, I always really appreciate this in the picks and ban screen when the teams are taking a little bit longer, because you can tell they're definitely communicating. They're trying really hard to make sure that they don't lose anything, because there's a hefty, not like a huge chunk of the game, but a pretty good portion can be balanced based on your picks. If you have something that just is a bad matchup, you aren't going to have fun. So being able to keep yourself ahead in that note is going to be very worthwhile.
Well, Serket gets locked in as the jungler. I mean, they're going to eliminate, as you said, almost all the top junglers are eliminated. Serket's still a great jungler, not picked as much lately, as she can have some bad matchups depending on who she's going against. Robin looks to be hovered over for the solo lane, and Thanatos actually is hovered over. Wow, you don't see a lot of Thanatos. It's either very hit or miss with this guy. If you get him going early, especially in that, level 2 to level 4 phase where he has a lot of kill potential, and if you can get him obviously level 5, that execute for an ultimate is insane. But the Nemesis is kind of, again, where I'm expecting a team to go to, especially when you've got a Raijin and a Hui that you can just sit there and burst somebody down with.
And having a Sobek and a Guan Yu, they're able to now, use the ultimate to shred the protections. Guan Yu is going to have the healing, though, so I do kind of expect to see RedEqualsDead to throw in some anti-heal, probably. If they don't, it's going to be not necessarily terrible for them, but Neith having a self-heal, Sol having a self-heal, Sobek having a self-heal, and Guan Yu having a team heal. So it's going to be very helpful. They need, curses. They're going to need maybe a Pestilence, a few Brawlers, Beat Sticks, and things will go a little bit more in their favor.
It's an interesting matchup. I think Fafnir really ends up giving, Red Squad over here a little bit of an advantage because Hui is going to get that major attack speed, but the Chairmen have a very solid squad as well. I mean, it's really up in the air.
But as it stands, it's going to be, I'm really interested to see the Robin versus Guan Yu, because Guan Yu's been, I want to say, heavily favored lately, and he has more so been, but he's really been pushed kind of, at least I feel like I've seen him mostly kind of running that support.
Look at this. We're going straight into the game. The countdown timer lied to me, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're going to hit the pause screen. We're going to go ahead and get set up in the spectator client, get everyone lined up. Give us about, 60 seconds to, a little bit of a minute or so. We'll get right back into the game as soon as we can. Hang on. Stay tuned. And we are back, boys and girls of the Twitch audience. We are here. My name is FreightTrain. Casting with me today is Goremizer. Exclamation point casters will give you all our social media. We hope you give us a follow, as we will try to do our best in casting this game. Let's go over the teams. We got Mando Warrior running the Robin over here. Mort is going to be hanging out in the jungle on the Nemesis. Reap will be doing the Raijin mid jungle. That'd be silly. He's not weakened. Wicked or Nah will be supporting on that Fafnir, and then One Glance is the ADC Hui.
Meanwhile, coming out for RedEqualsDead, we have Vampish Doll on the Guan Yu, the Mix CM going onto the jungle with Serket, Apocalypse taking Soul into the mid lane, and Zinuk and Fear Cthulhu going into the duo lane as Neith and Sobek. Although this could very well be a Soul ADC as well. It's kind of like we said, a flex pick, and it looks like it is. Yes, a Soul ADC.
Yeah, this is a Guan support, actually. This is a solo Sobek. And yeah, this is it. I just all of a sudden realized, I was like, wait a second, why is Guan Yu on this side of the map? I was like, they're doing different buffs. And so yeah, Guan supports solo Sobek, which is interesting. Sobek not really known to win a lot of matches or really lose a lot of matches in the solo lane. Again, more meant to be even than anything else, as he's going to take a little bit of poke, actually. Robin 2v1ing pretty well with these minions in hand.
Yeah, and the jungler and the mid laner for the chairman here did just go through. They got the mid harpies. That looks like they grabbed the fire elementals while they were at it. So Mando Warrior got some nice solo XP. They got some good farming, and it's going to give them just a small little lead this early on in the game.
So what's been happening lately, the more and more I watch Smite from this third person perspective, we got this wonderful eye in the sky, is that a lot of teams are electing, once everyone had these fire elementals up, it was like jungler stays in the solo lane for a wave, and then they go over and they do what they have to do. It seems like a lot of junglers are like, screw that, we want to leave you at blue, I'm going to rush right-hand mid-harpies with my mid lane, and then I'm going to let you take the elementals with the jungler, and then while you're still doing that, we're going to flip over to the other mid-harpies as well, and they're going to get more XP. Obviously, mid-harpies being worth a lot more than elementals. They're just kind of there to sustain, versus be true experience. So it's interesting to see how the meta's changed. As Wicked or not, watching the duel lane, missed a couple of stuns already in one glance, not really hitting anything either. So mechanics, maybe it's a little early in the morning yet.
Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, we're going to see Repap go for the ultimate. Sobek getting really low under the first tower, and First Blood going to be grabbed up by Mando Warrior. So First Blood going to the solo laner. They took out Sobek with a big 3-man rotation.
Really, I don't really know where the call was at. We have a Neef that's in the mid lane right now that's doing things. I mean, whether the communication was a little lack or what's going on. As Mort's level 5, he's going to get taunted out, but Serket, not level 5, gets hog stunned, actually, as we have the Wrath. Both junglers have Wrath. This was something, again, we saw yesterday a lot. Wrath being a very indicating item as far as being able to get these old, early gold Furies, late fire giant secures, things like that. But both junglers having it this time around ends up putting a damper in anyone's plans.
And meanwhile, like you had said earlier in the duo lane, just kind of watching the two teams go at it. Guan Yu sitting kind of low mana. We see Fafnir sitting at the same amount. And neither team really seeing like they want to get too aggressive. A little bit of missed abilities all around. But, I mean, as it stands, we see the chairman kind of making up for that in other aspects of their gameplay right now. They've been dominating the map control. They've been dominating the jungle. And not even just their own. And we even see Nemesis in the jungle waiting for other people to come through. And, I mean, as it stands, Sobek lurking in the water did come through. Mando Warrior going to be getting plucked, and Mort making the rotation over.
Well, yeah, he used the ultimate to go ahead and get some mana, and then all of a sudden mistakes were made as he ends up going to get demolished here. He should be getting killed. Yeah, he's going to ult over the wall as Robin is able to get over there, and now all of a sudden Serket's in a little bit of trouble right here. Oh, there's the Ryzen ultimate. Mando Warrior just outplaying them. Hold on to the ult the whole time. Lack of wards and lack of communication is the only thing I can chalk that up to. As Guan Yu is over here on the left-hand side, he's ulting the wave. It looks like he's going to get the stun. No, he won't get the stun off. As Fafnir's going to be in there. He's going to stun him in this. Wow, Wicked in one glance just pulled off a very nice combination of abilities. The suns come out as Wicked was changing into the big dragon form. Ends up hitting the one, which is a nice stun on Fafnir right there. And just stunned him inside of the suns. And he took an extra couple hits, which ended up really getting the kill.
The chairman really showing a little bit of expertise and a lot of team communication. They now, the two rotations on the solo lane have been widely successful. The duo lane just had really good success with their team fight. And they were able to take the jungle from it. They took the speed buff and the blue buff away from RedEqualsDead. And while their buffs are still up and potentially able to get stolen, I just don't see RedEqualsDead making the call to dive that deep, especially not in the scenario that they're in right now.
No, they can't do anything. Mort's going to take a decent amount of poke, but he's going to have to back out over here. I just feel like, again, a lack of ward coverage. We're looking at the mini-map. There's really, there's a deep red ward here, and that's kind of about it. But the solo lane Sobek that's supposed to just go even in matchups has been very, very not even, as he's going 2 levels down already and at least 1,000 gold. I mean, that's really not good at 5 minutes in the game to be 2 levels and 1,000 gold behind. I mean, you're a Sobek. Depending on how he builds, whether he wants to go that hybrid build or a tanky build, I mean, he's still going to be struggling in that department as far as finances go. He's not going to have the gold.
Yeah, and part of this is Mando Warrior playing extraordinarily well. Another part of it, like you've said already, vision on the map, the wards that should be coming out from Sobek here to grab any sort of gank attempt that might be coming. There are none. There's still no wards down, even though twice now people have made this rotation over, and he's paid for it. And about 1,000 gold, now almost 1,200 at this point. And it looks like he's just getting abused even more. He's sitting at half health, forced into lurking in the water, and it's just Mando Warrior running the lane.
His ultimate is not even able to clear wave. And, you know, here's the mistake that Zink's done over here as the Sobek. And I'll go ahead and point this out to you guys. Cooldown boots, as we do have a gank attempt actually in the right lane. It looks like Serket is going to ult. The overhead kick will go ahead and mitigate some of the damage. The tower shot is negated, but it looks like Mando should escape at level 10. He has no fear having to go against that. And again, on the left-hand side, we did see another fight going on as, well, one glance, again, one more time, able to go ahead and clean that one up as Mort must have came over and used his ultimate. Yeah, it looks like a couple ultimates used on the left-hand side, and that just forced out the Neath in there in the mid lane.
Meanwhile, Chairman going to be starting up the Gold Fury. I don't know exactly how well this call is going to go through. Wrath is there for Serket, but she's not able to get in time. They do confirm the Gold Fury first. They also had the Wrath going, so it was very, very strong for both of them. They had the contention available, and I like to see that RedEqualsDead was coming in to try and get something out of it, but it looks like they're going to pay for it with their lives.
Well, yeah, I got confused because Neath was in the mid lane and now Soul's in the mid lane, and I'm just kind of like wondering where everyone was at. I was like, wait, Neath is not the ADC. Soul should have been there, but Neath's the one that fell in duo lane. So I'm like, wait, where's everyone at? And maybe they're swapping lanes again. They're just not feeling the Neath in the mid all of a sudden. But as both, yeah, it looks like they are gonna swap. I mean, Neath's still here. I'm just kind of confused about why she's hanging out in this mid lane and not. One of these two need to go to the duo lane. There we go.
Yeah, they're
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Splitting the experience between the two of them for that long might not have been the best idea, especially because whichever one of them is trying to be the hunter, and personally, I see Neath with the Transcendence. She needs the stacks, she needs the farm, and not being able to get it as a stun comes out. Apocalypse is going to get annihilated in the mid lane. A beautiful, beautiful Thunder Crash from Repap there, and a great stun from Wicked, just leading them to yet another kill, leading now 7-0.
Chairmen using a really good job of their abilities. They're sitting there, they're combining everything up there. One glance, it seems like everyone's woken up the first couple of kills. Mechanically, everyone seems to kind of gotten their feet wet, and you know they're back in the water and they're swimming now. They're good to go. As they seem to really be on all 4 feet legs, just running forward at a really high speed because they're just getting the stuns off. Here comes a jump in. They're going to go for a nice bounce. Now all of a sudden we have the Guan Yu ultimate coming out. The stuns are going to be there. We're going to go for the same combination again. Can he get the stun off this time? But no, Guan Yu will actually get out of here. But at the same time, again, that course used. He's going to go for the trick shot. Oh, will actually hit in between the 2 targets. Wouldn't have killed anybody anyways, but it would have been nice to see a little bounce.
Serket going to be jumping in. Wicked, no mana, and he's low health. He's going to get taunted, dashed through. A lot of damage, but he's running away. No stun able to come out from Hui. So Wicked really, at this point, just trying to get away. Hui going to get the knockout, then he takes the knee fall for him! Wicked's going to live!
I can't believe Serket let that kill go. And now all of a sudden, Reap in the mid lane ends up getting a kill. I just don't understand. I understand not getting tunnel vision and backing off in certain cases, but you needed the... This is a Fafnir. Okay, so anybody that doesn't understand how Fafnir works, his ultimate, he ends up going back into dwarf form, and he sits there, and he can take damage then. Like, he was seconds away from that dwarf form again. All you needed to do was continue up on the kill, and Serket comes over with a very failed gank attempt. At this point in time, just looking at the gold and the XP differential, 10,000 experience we're looking at already, nearly 7,500 gold at 7,300. This is a 10-minute lead that is getting out of control quickly.
I feel like the communication for that was that, you know, Neath had the ult, and as Neath ult locks on, they were like, oh yeah, there's no way they're going to miss. Hui diving down in front of that was really good. As a taunt going to come out, More taking a lot of damage, Repop taking a lot of damage, Guan Yu all going to get beads away, Repop getting low, and he turns, the burst going to come down, one glance, 4 members of the Chairman here, the crash going to come down, they're going to take 2 kills out of what looked like they were going to fall.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Apocalypse.
Walking
Don't
behind
come over
him.
here.
She might be able to get a kill, but it looks like Fear Cthulhu going to be the next one to fall. Soul in the background, going to get a little bit of damage. Repop running away. The nice stun from Wicked. Repop going to jump through. Soul just having to go into that disapparate. Pull herself out.
Yeah, I told her not to come over here. Like, there's just nothing that Soul can do. It just, this is an aspect. You see the F6 surrender vote come out at 10 minutes. I don't know if this is going to go through. Honestly, it's a possibility that it does, and it would really be a little bit of a shame as, you know, we're expecting a little bit of a longer game. It just seems that Red Team, the Chaos side, is not able to keep up with the pressure that the Chairmen are putting on. you can't fight in Smite when you're this far behind, and it's a matter of the chairman playing their lead properly, but it's also a matter of Red not being able to play defensively enough, because that's probably the hardest thing to do in Smite Core is when you're down, play defensively, but still find your farm and not give up anything more. It's by far the hardest thing to do.
Absolutely, because not only does it require you to kind of, like, you have to assess the game. You have to recognize, okay, I cannot fight them. But you also have to take into the account that you have to be patient. And I don't know about you, it is really, really hard when you see someone, they get really low, even though you recognize, okay, this person 3 levels, 4 levels, 5 levels ahead of me. Sometimes you see them get really low and you're like, I can do this. They turn it around on you, and then you're the one who gets put down. And that's kind of what's been happening to RedEqualsDead. They'll see a fight, they think, wait a minute, we can actually take this. And like we saw last time, they had 3 members on Chairman almost dead, but the level difference was just so great that Chairman was able to get out through it.
This re-app is just absolutely... The combination of Nemesis with Raijin is just deadly. Like, this combination, we ended up seeing it earlier. I mean, we've seen this before. Anytime Nemesis is involved with a Burst Mage, like, the Gold Fury is going to get ready started, but Apocalypse will end up... We have a kill on the board for RedEqualsDead. There we go. Apocalypse will end up getting the first kill. Gold Fury ends up falling on the left-hand side while that's going on. So, we do have a feeder for the chairman, and it is Robin.
I don't know if you were hovering over that, but I was watching that fight the entire time it's going on, and Robin was fighting 1v3. He not only managed to get a kill out of it, but it took all 3 of them locking him into the blue buff. Yeah. He used his ult in place. That's the only reason he couldn't get out. If he had kept his ult to jump away, he would have been able to live there, but using it in place to get the kill instead, he just kind of knew he could fight, and I mean, he loses 1 kill, which actually is more worth it for RedEqualsDead, but with the way his team is playing right now, they're getting objectives, and they're getting some more kills. It doesn't look good for RedEqualsDead.
No, well, Wicked's going to end up getting pulled. This is going to be a second kill. All right, Apocalypse, you're 2, and you got some kills going, 2 and 2, hanging out there. Just kind of curious to see what ends up happening here in the rest of this mid lane as Guan Yu's going to get forced out ulted. Lurking in the water is going to be used, and Pop Shield is available. Great job by Nemesis. Absolutely butchered. Well played by Mort to sit there and kind of bait that out. Waited, use the shield. The rest of the team fight continues. Backflip is used. There goes the Mando Warrior with the root overhead kick. He's going to ult on top underneath. He's going to try to get this damage. Piranha Onslaught should be available, but no. The Circuit ultimate will actually keep him away. So good use of the ultimate right there to zone out, but this mid tier 2 will end up falling as Apocalypse is doing everything he can in the mid lane, including an ult. Mort looks to fall. They're chasing it so hard. Can they get it? Oh, this is exactly what you're saying. So many low health bars, but they're not able to confirm the kills.
And it's really bad, especially because I feel like RedEqualsDead was doing a very good job there. Although Mando Warrior going to fall, Neithel, I think, is actually what came through and got that one for him. And just they were playing that part exceptionally well under the tier 2. They were like, all right, we can defend, focus them down, try not to die. Well, but then they started focusing the kills. They both ran out of the tower range to chase down Mando, and then they all fell.
Well, right now, like I said, 19-4 are the kills. The chairman kind of leading the way. Robin leading the damage to kind of be expected at the 12,000 mark. I mean, he's been in the solo lane doing a lot of work. Hui, Raijin are topping the charts there. Soul Apocalypse has been doing what he has to do. I mean, he's been hitting the Stellar Burst, been playing pretty well. Again, you know, there's really not much you could do when you're down this many levels. Just as you said, just unable to truly confirm these kills being for... If you look at the level differentials, it's anywhere from somebody is down either between 2 or 5 levels on the other team. And it's nearly impossible to confirm these kills. We're at the 15-minute mark, and it looks like the chairmen want to go ahead and go for this Fire Giant. Honestly, if I'm Red, what do? You've almost got to give it up. It's 15 minutes in the game. What else can you do? You're down so many levels.
At this point, I'd like to see them keep it warded up so they can see the health on it. Circuit does have Wrath. I want to see her get around and be ready for a steal, although she'd have to jump in, do just enough damage to bring it into range, and then Wrath it before we can see Mort do that with the Nemesis. And I don't think that's going to be very likely, although kind of a sloppy showing with the Fire Giant taking, but it doesn't matter. All 5 members on Chairman going to pick that up, and it's just going to bring them their lead a little bit higher. That was pretty much the last ticket. I don't see RedEqualsDead coming back too far from this one. The tower is going to be taken down, and now Sobek once again going to fall. 4 of the 5 members came over the solo lane, and it looks like another tier 2 is going to fall for RedEqualsDead.
Yeah, I mean, I was just kind of looking at the wards being placed. It's a very obviously heavily in the chairman's favor, able to see what's going on in the jungle. Again, taking a look at damage, Hui ends up taking that up. XP per minute's going to Hui as well. Been playing very well. It looks like I have a pause that just jumped up, or what's going on?
As I see it, the right Phoenix is actually being tanked down right now. They're just getting aggressive. Mort actually getting really low is going to be the one who falls. And Raijin ult came out, but it's not going to get anybody. It's going to take a little bit of damage, and Mando going to be able to pick up the kill in the background. So while it didn't go for them, they are going to be able to get a double, triple for the chairman here. 3 kills down, and now it looks like we might see Cirquet fall.
I love Spectator as you were casting a grid. I was like, oh, there's a team fight happening as the Titan gets ready to fall, and my Spectator was like, nah, man, we're frozen in time. We're not going to do anything over here as the Titan ends up falling. But it's all good, man. Spectator ended up catching back up to where I needed to be. It's always entertaining when that happens, as the Titan will fall. A very quick game, under 17 minutes. Just RedEqualsDead, unable to really take that early Raijin pressure. Those early ganks by Raijin, 7-0 by Reap. Just a very impressive showing by him. And also, really the Robin and Hui, 7-0, 8-2, all did a really good job playing the game.
I also feel like not only did Raijin's damage help out, but he did build the Divine Ruin first item, and I feel like that anti-heal pretty much helped his team out as they go through the entirety of the game, because like we were saying in picks and bans, there was a lot of heals, either self or team-wise, on RedEqualsDead, and having that immediately able to kind of shut down his lane opponent, which was Neath at the time. And then, you know, with the rotations going to Guan Yu, now those heals are being shut down. Having that extra little damage was just really, really strong for Chairman.
Well, yeah, I know we got a couple extra minutes. That was a short game at under 17 minutes, so we can kind of look at these charts real fast and see what's going on and look at the builds, see if there's anything that kind of like sticks out of us. The fact that Hui never finished Ichabod, that's how confident he was. He was like, I'm just going to go short bow for 15% attack speed, then go Devos, and then into Kins. That's how confident he was playing right now at 7-0. Raijin, me and you harp on this all the time, anti-healing. He has a Divine Ruin. Now, he didn't get that. I don't know if he got that directly first. I don't remember seeing it. He probably went Pen Boots, and then he went into the Divine Ruin at some point in time afterwards from that, like, the tiny trinket that he got. But that's a great thing. Again, you know, you have to deal with a lot of life steal, a lot of healing. Sobek has a heal. It's a smart play to sit there and get that. You know, they didn't even need a curse because they had a Divine Ruin. And that really ends up putting a damper. So looking at the builds, I guess the only thing I'm questioning is, like, Soul's early poly. Just not enough pop early on, maybe.
Yeah, I think I actually would have. It looked like she was going to be building into the demonic grip. I kind of would have preferred to see boots where Polly is, and then demonic grip where the boots are right now, and then maybe pushing for the Polynomicon. But as it stands, you know, her build just not really enough damage coming out of her. Sobek not having the best of luck. The ganks on his lane kind of shut him down. So even though his build isn't that bad, the lane he got shut down very early on, and that let Mando just run through it.
Well, everyone, if you know One Glance, you can either whisper him, find him someplace, and tell him that he needs to place wards. He plays 0 wards that game. I am a ward advocate, but he was the ADC, and he was 7-0, so, you know, he had plenty of gold. He was hogging it up, though. He had 642 gold per minute. He was like, I don't want to buy any wards. Screw that. The man didn't even finish Ichabod, so he's being pretty cheap right there. Rest of the wards placed out, you see 9 by the mid laner. That's pretty big, actually. You don't really see that many normally placed out. The lack of vision kind of came late as Zinc ended up getting ganked with the 1 ward. Poor Vamp, again, he was playing a Guan Yu. He did a good job. He had 2,500 player healing. It's just, when you get focused and you're not tanky and you're like 4 levels behind everybody, 5 levels behind, what's really a level 11 Guan supposed to do against somebody that's 18 like Hui? Just not a lot you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Levels playing in favor of Chairman, and a lot of that chalks up to good farming, and I mean, just the early on ganks. The vision should have come out a little bit earlier, but as it stands, Chairman were able to get the victory with it, and I mean, you can see the damage numbers really high, the ward numbers very high. They kept the vision, they kept the kills, and they just communicated very well.
Well, that's going to do it for round number 1, guys, for the Esports Bush League tournament, summer tournament of SMITE right now. We're going to get the second round underway soon. Maybe we'll jump into the other game depending on